You don't know how to use After Effects because it looks way too confusing. You don't even know where to start. Which button do I press first? All you wanted was to make one of these smooth fan edits that you saw on TikTok. So you installed After Effects, opened it up, and now your head hurts. If only there was someone who could help you. Well, don't worry, because today I will show you step by step how you can make this exact fan edit of your favorite character to finally go viral. And all you need is After Effects, a few clips of your character, a song, and 20 minutes. The first thing you will see when opening After Effects is this window. And what we want to do here is create our project. So click on New Composition, and in here we have to take some vital choices. First and most important is our resolution size. Because I want my edit to be in this square format, I'm gonna go for 1080 by 1080. But there's loads of different resolution sizes that you can pick from. For example, 1080 by 1450, 1080 by 1920, or like in this case, 1080 by 1080. All of them have their different look. Which one you choose is up to you. And because we don't want to look like goofy CapCut editors, the frame rate is gonna be 60, and the duration depends on how long you want your edit to be. In my case, I'm gonna go for 30 seconds, but don't worry, you can change this later as well. And you will see your workspace with the preview, timeline, and the footage. The reason why our preview is black is because we haven't yet imported our footage. And to import your footage, I recommend putting the song and the scene pack that you want to use inside of a folder. Like that, you can just select both of them and then drag them into your project panel on the left side. Now they are inside of your After Effects, and if you don't know how to find clips of your character, I will leave you the Discord server where I get my scene packs in the description. The first and most important step in our editing process is going to be marking the beat drops. Because when we create an edit, we obviously have to match it with our music. So start off by just selecting your song in the project panel and then dragging it onto your timeline like this. For the next step, I recommend you use headphones because that will make it a bit easier. Once we got our song in the timeline, we're going to right click on it. Then we're going to go to Keyframe Assistant and click Convert Audio to Keyframes. That will create an extra red layer on top of our song. And now by pressing U, we can bring up all the information to the beat drops. To read this information, click on the both channels slider right here, which will select all of the keyframes, and then open up the graph editor. Once you open the graph editor, it will look like this, which I know is very overwhelming, but to break this down for you, every time you see one of these spikes right here, this means we have a beat drop, which makes it way more accurate because we actually know where they're located and we don't have to guess. So move your time indicator to wherever your edit is starting, which is right here, and then just zoom in on your timeline, which will make the spikes a bit more readable. As you can see, I have my first spike starting right here, so I'm going to move my time indicator to where the spike is starting, and on the right side, I'm going to click this little bookmark, and that will create a bookmark on my timeline with the number 1. Now we know that at this point, the first beat drop is happening. After the spike is over, the next spike starts here, so I'm going to move my time indicator to this next spike, and then again click onto this bookmark, which will create the marker number 2. What's important here is that you always double check by listening to the audio. The spikes are also going to look different depending on which audio you use. So if you use a different audio than me, the chances are very high that your graph is going to look a lot different. Just make sure that you orientate off the spikes and then listen along to make sure you accurately mark the beat drops. And you want to repeat this for all of the beat drops you want to use in your edit. Once that's done, your timeline should look like this, and as you can see in my case, I have 9 beat drops in my audio. And once we marked all of the beat drops, we're going to close the graph editor, and now we can delete this top layer by selecting it and just pressing delete. To finally remove the black from our screen, we're now going to import our footage. For that, just go to the project panel on the left and drag the scene pack that we imported earlier onto your timeline like this. And if you use a whole scene pack like me, you're going to have a bunch of random scenes, and we obviously have to find a scene that fits with our intro. On my timeline, you can see it takes roughly 20 seconds until our first beat drop is happening, so we also have to find an intro scene that will cover these entire 20 seconds. If our intro scene is only 10 seconds long, it wouldn't fit with the audio. So make sure you find the right intro scene for the right audio. And like I said, I'm using an entire scene pack, so the footage I want to use for my intro is actually way further ahead. And to now get to the point where the intro is happening, we're going to double click onto our footage layer, and it will bring up this extra timeline. You can see we have this small blue line right here, which is our mini timeline, and then we have an entire preview of our footage as well. What we can do here is just drag ahead this small time marker until we get to the scene that we want to use in our intro, which in my case is going to be this scene right here where he's talking to the car salesman. Once you found the scene that you want to use, you're going to go to this bracket right here and just click on it once, which will automatically cut your layer to be starting from that point in time. And now when I play ahead, you can see it exactly starts from that point.
You scared me, bro.
And then obviously we're gonna have to cut this clip at the end of our intro where our editing part starts. So I'm gonna right click onto the first beat drop that we created and then click on go to marker time. That will put our time indicator at the exact point where our edit is supposed to start. And now we can just press Ctrl Shift and D, which will cut our intro layer, and then we can start with our clips. To now find the clips, it's gonna be almost the same. Just make sure you double click onto the top layer that we just cut from the intro one, and that will reveal the rest of it in this small timeline. And then again, we just have to move ahead until we find the next clip we want to use. In my case, case this one, and then we can click onto this bracket again underneath of the mini timeline, and it will cut the layer to start exactly at our first beat drop. And this clip is supposed to be playing between the first and second beat drop, so I'm just going to click onto the second time marker, then click on to go to marker time, and cut this layer again by pressing Ctrl Shift and D. After that, double click onto the top layer one more time, and then find the next scene you want to use, which in my case is going to be right here. Once you found the scene, click onto the bracket, and then repeat this process until you found all the clips you want to use in your edit. Once that's done, your timeline should look packed like me, and one thing that you may notice when you play ahead your clips is that some of them are not in the middle of the screen, like this one right here. And we have to fix this because obviously the main focus of our edit is our character, not a wall. So select the clip that is not in the center and press P on your keyboard. It will bring up two values, and we're gonna have to change the one on the left, either increase or decrease it until your character is in the center of the screen. Do this with all your clips because we don't want to look like goofy CapCut editors. Once our clips are centered, we're gonna have to change two more settings until we can start with the effects, which first of all is gonna be muting all of the clips in our editing part. So you don't want to mute your intro because you want to hear what the characters are saying, but inside of the editing part, we don't want to hear some background noise or music playing. So select all of the clips in your editing part and then just disable this little speaker symbol. Whilst you got them selected, also enable motion blur, which is this setting, and then also click on this box twice so we enable frame blending. This will just make our edit look way smoother. And the last thing we have to do before we add our first effect is just pre-compose all of the layers. To do that, just right click onto your clip, then go to pre-compose. It will open up this window. Just make sure you enable the bottom option and then also enable this check mark. Click onto OK and repeat this for all of your clips. Now our timeline looks way cleaner and we can finally get to the interesting stuff and start adding our first effect. And the first effect we're gonna add is called Twixter. What that will do is put a nice velocity look on our clips to make them all fit together. So start with the first clip, go to effects and presets and search for Twixter. Select the Twixter effect and then drag it onto the first layer. And by the way, if you cannot find this effect inside of your After Effects, join my Discord server. The settings in here are going to be vital for how smooth it looks, so listen up. First of all, we're going to disable the check mark next to in FPS is out FPS and change the frame rate to whatever frame rate our clips have. If you're not sure about the frame rate of your clips, just click onto these arrows, go to project, then right click on your scene pack, go to interpret footage and select main. Once that's done, you can see the file frame rate, which is 23.976 FPS in my case. Close this window, go back to your effects controls and then just replace the input frame rate of Twixter with whatever frame rate your clip has. In my case, 23.976. Next, we're going to put the image prep from none to contrast / edge enhance, then put the frame interpolation from blend to motion weighted blend, enable smart blend and put the motion sensitivity from 70 up to 100. And now to create the actual velocity animation, we have to make sure our time indicators at the start of our clip, and then we're going to set a keyframe for the speed percentage. Right now it's at 100%, which just means that our clip will be playing at 100% of its speed. If you put this to 200, it will make your clip play twice as fast, and if you put this to 50, it will be half of the speed. For the first keyframe, we want to change our value from 100 to 250, and if you press U on your keyboard, it will bring up the first keyframe right here. Now we're going to go to the middle of our clip between the first and second beat marker and set our second keyframe. This time we're going to put the speed down to 60. One last time, go to the end of your clip and set the third and final keyframe again at 250. Now you should have a total of 3 keyframes, but because we're not goofy CapCut editors, we're going to have to change the graph. Select the keyframes, right click, go to keyframe assistant and then click on easy ease. Open the graph editor, and by changing this graph, we can now adjust the speed in between of the keyframes, meaning how fast our value changes from 250 down to 60. We want it to be quite fast, so we're going to click onto the graph, drag this first handle downwards all the way, and then the bottom one we're going to drag to the left. Same thing on the other side, drag the bottom handle all the way to the right, and then the top one we're going to drag straight down. Make sure your graph looks like mine, and then we can close the graph editor. And don't worry, you don't have to make this animation over and over for all of your clips. What we can do instead is just select all of the keyframes, then left click onto our effect name, press Ctrl and C, that will copy this effect, and then we have to move our time indicator to the beginning of the next clip, select the clip and press Ctrl and V. Now if we press U on our keyboard, we will automatically have the keyframes on the next clip as well. Just one thing that you want to watch out for, if this clip is longer or shorter than the first one, they're not going to match up. So you can see when I zoom in, these keyframes are a bit longer than the entire clip. And what's very important is that you make these keyframes fit. And to make these keyframes fit, we're going to select all of them, hold down our Alt key and then drag them until they fit with the end of our clip. Apply the Twixter effect to all of your clips. And like I said, make sure that the keyframes align with the length of your clip. Now when we play ahead our editing part, it should already look way smoother than before. And the next effect we're going to add is called the zoom in, which will just have us remove the stiffness and make the transitions look a bit more seamless. To create it, again, we're going to go to the beginning of our first clip right here. And for this, we're going to use the S_blur more curves effect. So go to effects and presets and search for S_blur more curves. Like before, if you cannot find this effect inside of your After Effects, make sure you join my Discord server. Drag the effect on top of your first clip, and then we're going to set a keyframe for the Z distance at the very start. Leave the value at 1, then press U to bring up the keyframes, and you can see underneath of our Twixter keyframes we created earlier, we now have one more keyframe, which is our zoom. To create the actual animation, go to the end of your clip and then set a second keyframe at the value 0.7. The lower you go with this value, the more zooming in you will have, left. So if you want to adjust it, feel free to. Like we did with the Twixtor, we're also going to change the graph here. So select both the keyframes, right click, go to keyframe assistant and select easy ease. Open the graph editor and the graph here looks a bit different because we only have 2 keyframes instead of 3. Start by dragging the top handle downwards, not all the way to the left, keep it a bit diagonal. And then the bottom one, we're going to reverse. So we're going to drag this one upwards, also a bit diagonal. Once that's done, close the graph editor. And because right now it's zooming into his chest and we want it to zoom in onto his face, we're going to go to the S_blurmer curves and then decrease the center Y value, which is the one on the right. So if you put that down, you can see it will move this crosshair onto his face, which means it will be zooming in onto his face. Depending on your clips, obviously the face of your character might be in a different position. So make sure you adjust this to your own edit. I'm going to go with 225. Like before, we want to make sure this animation is the same on all of our clips to get a nice unity. So select the zooming in keyframes, then left click onto your effect, press Ctrl and C, move your time indicator to the beginning of the next clip, and then just press Ctrl and V to paste the keyframes. Also make sure that the keyframes fit, so press U. You can see they're a bit too long again, so I'm going to select both of them, hold down my Alt key, and then just drag it towards the left until it fits with the end of my clip. Do this for all your clips so they all have the same effects. Once that's done, you can see our editing part already looks amazing, but the only thing that's missing now is that our intro has no effects at all, so it's just a plain clip, and we obviously want to change that. And the best way to visually upgrade your intro is adding a nice text, which is what we're gonna do. A lot of people don't like adding text because it's quite hard to do and you have to have some creativity, but don't worry, I will show you exactly how to do it. For this step, again, I recommend you get your headphones, and we're gonna start right at the beginning where the first sentence is being spoken. One tool I always use when making text is the waveform, and to bring that up, just select your intro clip and then press L twice. You can see we get all of these spikes, and these are just gonna help us get the timing right for all of the sentences, because every time a character speaks, it's gonna be reflected in these spikes. Let's listen to the first sentence.
You scared me, bro.
You can hear the first sentence is, "You scared me, bro." So that's also gonna be our first text. To add the text, go to the top and select the text tool, which is the big T, and then just click onto your composition. Now we have to write what the character is saying, which in this case, like I said, is, "You scared me, bro." You can see my text looks good, but we want to make some changes. First of all, we want the text to be in white, so select all of the text, then go to the right and open up this character panel, and we're gonna click onto this red box and put the color from red to white. Press onto OK, and the font I always like to use is called Arial Bold. The text size, I would recommend you put around 40 pixels, and that's all we need for now. On top of that, we want the text to be in the center and not shifted to the left, so I'm also going to bring up my align panel and then align the text horizontally and vertically so it's exactly in the center of my screen. The problem we have now is that we have to change what the text says, because if we play ahead,
You scared me, bro.
We have some unfinished business.
you can see the next sentence starts around here where the spikes start again. And to now change the text from the first line to the second line, what we're going to do is just cut our text layer where the next sentence is starting right here by pressing Ctrl Shift and D, and then we're just going to replace the current text with the next sentence. So I'm going to click onto the text layer and select the entire text by just double clicking. Once it's marked in red, we can just delete and then replace with what the character is saying now. This sentence is a bit longer than the other one, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in between the unfinished and business, delete the space, and then just press enter once, which will put it into a second line. This is important because you don't want your text to be too wide over the screen, so using these paragraphs can make it look a bit cleaner. Don't overuse this though, because if you use too many paragraphs in one sentence, it's going to look messy. And I'll just repeat the steps and make sure you add a text line for every word and sentence that is being spoken in your intro. Once that's done, you can see we have a bunch of text layers which should all represent what your characters are saying. Only problem is that the text still looks like it's been made on CapCut. So next we will add our text effects, which will actually make our edit stand out. Go to the first sentence and then open up your effects and presets. The first effect we want to add is called Deep Glow, so search for Deep Glow. And I think you know by now, but if you can't find this effect inside of your After Effects, join my Discord server. Drag Deep Glow onto the first text layer and you can see it will make our text a bit brighter. This right now is a bit too bright, so we're going to go into the settings and put the exposure from 1 down to 0.2 and also the radius from 500 down to 300. The second effect is called Drop Shadow. Make sure you select the normal one and drag it underneath of the Deep Glow effect. This will give us some more contrast. Just make sure you put the opacity to 100 and the softness to 15. And to apply these text effects to all of our other text layers as well, just make sure you select both of them while holding down Control, then press Control and C, select all of the other layers that you haven't yet applied them to, and then press Control and V. And then these effects should look the same on all of your text layers. And because we don't want to look boring with our text, we're going to put some effects and color into it as well. For example, in my second sentence, I'm going to put some color into the word business. So select it by just double clicking onto the word, and then inside of my character panel, I'm going to click onto this white box again, and I'm going to change it to a light blue, something like this. Always make sure you kind of match the color with the word. And then something you can also do for certain words is point them out a bit more by changing the font. In this case, I think it would look good if we make it a bit more bulky. So instead of the Arial Bold, I'm going to select Arial Black. I'm also going to increase the size a bit and the leading so that it fits nice and well, and do this for all of the words that you want to point out. These text effects are very simple and great for the style, but if you want to learn some more advanced text effects, check out this tutorial I made last week. Once we customize the text, our edit will already look way more professional, but now we have to add text animations because we don't want the text to just pop in from nowhere. So again, grab your headphones and And we want to start with the first sentence right here. The animation I want for my edit is called fade up words. And what that will do, like the name already reveals, is just fade up each word one by one. So instead of our entire text popping in like it is right now,
You scared me, bro. We have some unfinished business.
it will reveal each word as the character is speaking it. Open up your effects and presets and search for fade up words. We're going to drag this onto our first text layer and it should automatically make our text invisible. This is totally normal. Now what we have to do is press U on our keyboard and you can see we have two keyframes that weren't there before. And the way that this animation works is that the first keyframe at 0% will mark the start of our animation, and then the second one will be at 100%, which will mark the end of our animation, meaning where our sentence is supposed to be completely visible. And to make it look good, we're now going to have to match these keyframes with the talking speed of our character. Like before, I always use the waveform for this, so click onto your intro, press L twice, and then you can see these spikes. And if you play ahead right now,
You scared me, bro.
you can see the text is coming in a bit too slow, which means we're going to have to drag these keyframes a bit closer together. Now it should perfectly line up, which is what you want for your
You
text.
scared me, bro.
And this animation we're going to reuse for all of our text layers. Just make sure you exactly time the keyframes so that they fit with the talking speed of your character. Once the fading up animation is done, we also want to add a fading out animation so that the transition between two texts is more seamless. And this animation is very simple. Just make sure you go a few frames before your text ends. In my case, I'm going to go for around 15 frames before. Then select your text layer and press T on your keyboard. Set a keyframe for the opacity at 100% and then go to the exact end of your text layer right here and put the opacity value from 100 down to 0. Like you can see, that will fade out our entire text at once and make space for the next sentence. And like with all effects in this video, you want to make sure you do this for all of your text layers so it has a nice unity and looks very smooth. Now that we're done with our intro and editing part, we're going to get to the most important step, which is adding a color correction. For that, go to the top, click on layer, new, and then select adjustment layer. What's very important is that you drag this adjustment layer underneath of your text but above your clips. So you don't want your text to be affected by your color correction. That's because the text already has its glow effects and we don't want to mess with that at all. And once we drag the adjustment layer right above our effects, we can add our color correction. As you can see, adding a good color correction can increase the quality of your edits immensely. And if you now want to get my exact color correction I use to make my edits look the best as possible, make sure you check the first link in the description because I'm still running a huge opportunity in my shop. Thanks to the amazing feedback from you guys, you can still save an extra 10% on the already ongoing 70% sale by using the code SUMMER10. So if you want to boost your quality to the next level and finally go viral, make sure you don't miss out on this opportunity. What we have to do next is loop our editing part so that it plays twice. For that, make sure you select all of the clips inside of your editing part and then pre-compose them. Select this bottom option and enable this check mark and then press onto OK. Now we're going to duplicate this layer by pressing Ctrl and D, which will leave us with the same editing part twice. And the top one we can now just drag ahead so that it starts when the first one ends. I'm also going to add my 3D outro at the end of this edit, which you can get for free with the project file of this and all my other edits as a bonus if you join my school community. Second link in the description. Once we finished all of that, we obviously have to get our edit out of After Effects. To do that, head to the top, click on Composition, add to render queue, and then here you want to click onto the output module, and for the format, instead of H.264, we're going to select QuickTime, and then click onto the output and give your edit a name. Click on save and then press render. Depending on how fast your PC is, this might take a while, and if this video helped you, make sure you like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that and you would make my day. If you now want to learn some more advanced transitions, check this tutorial next. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time.
I can't write you up right now. I got the wife waiting for me.
You're not married.
Ex-wife. I gotta take the kids.
You don't have kids?
Step-kids. They're hers.
Nope.
Okay, how about this one? I don't give a shit.